Hello, welcome to Scale Modeling, and welcome to part 15 of our 1/200 scale Yamato Battleship build. And for anyone who's just joining this for the first time, please subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you get notified of the videos as they come out. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video and comment towards the end if you've got any thoughts or anything like that, and maybe even share it. There's a share option as well if you'd like to share the video to your social media and let other people know what's happening. So in the last video we managed to get the funnel all finished, painted up and looking fantastic. I'll just bring that back out. I'll have just a quick look. There it is. There it is there. There it is, looking nice, all ready to go on board. And of course, when I did that, I also mentioned that I may as well get the other superstructure parts all painted up as well. So I did. And let's have a look at what they turned out like. So here is the main bridge tower. Looking good, eh? That paint, this Outlaw Paints, is just incredible stuff. I know I keep saying it, but it's one of those things that if you get the opportunity to go to the website and to just buy a bottle, try it, you'll be converted. I swear. You'll never go back to whatever you were using before. But there she is. It's looking really good. Now, what I want to do is I want to do all the binoculars up here in the gunmetal. And then on top of this, there'll be a radar unit that goes on that I've painted. And here it is there. So that sits on top. So it will cover some of that. But that's why I've painted it separately so I can access all in there and just detail that up a little bit. But yeah, that's come up really well too. That paint's gone on so well. I mean, look how that mesh is. I know that if I put something white under there, you'll be able to actually see. You can see through that mesh. That's how nice that paint goes on, eh? Fine mesh, you can see right through it. So that's done. And then I've also reached down here. This stuff is actually still drying. There's our mast, all painted up. Looking really good. And then we also have this other tower. And there's that one there. I'll just move this out of the way. Be careful. So we got this one here. And again, that paint looks just incredible. It's just a smooth, silky finish. Beautiful. And it just goes on so easily. I mean, you know, you just spray it. There's no worrying about how close or how far away you are too much, or you know, what pressure you're using. This stuff is so flexible, anybody can get a result that, well, I think that looks pretty professional. What do you reckon? You know, it's really forgiving. That's the word I was looking for. Okay. So with those done, like I say, I want to clear coat them all. But before that, there's a few little details I need to just touch up on them. Also, I mentioned before about doing the porthole windows. There's a lot of windows on this and the other piece. Some of the bigger square ones around the bridge and down this lower area, as well as all the other smaller ones. They all have to be filled in and given that glass effect, which will be done using my go-to porthole glass MIG ammo glue. Yeah, you've seen me do this before and how I do it. Just put it on the end of a toothpick and touch it in there and let it dry crystal clear, and you get a beautiful reflection of glass in there. But what you got to remember is you don't want to then come along and put a coat of clear over, because clear coat tends to fog up any clear plastic or this. So even though you would not notice it much, you would lose some of that glint of light in the windows, and I don't want to lose any of that, because that's the effect I want to create. So this will go on, and I'll touch through all those after the clear coat's gone on and it's all dried. But we will go through all that hopefully in this video. So in the meantime, this stuff is all sitting aside and drying properly. Just put that away. And right now we're going back to the instructions. We're going to where we're up to actually, which is step 77. I'll put that up in the corner here. And as you can see, we've got a little platform to build of Photo-etch. In fact, this whole step, the two parts to it, take up the whole page, and they're really only that platform with a bit of railing. And to do that, I've got it here, and the platform is just here. So there's three little location marks underneath where these go. So you can see I've already prepared. So there's our three little pieces that go in. They're actually the supports that are going on the bottom. It turns it over, we turn it over, and then we'll do the railing across the top. And there's a ladder on there as well. And that will go onto here, joining these two here. And I have checked beforehand to make sure that nothing's going to get in the way, everything will be fine. So yeah, I'll be able to put them on now. I want to work out basically everything I need to put on this before we paint this. That's the stage we want to get to. So without jumping too far ahead, I know that in step 78 there is actually a ladder that goes on that connects from that platform we're doing now up onto a bit of the superstructure that isn't here, which means that we're going to have to do that ladder at a later time. We can't put that on now because obviously there's nothing painted, so we'll be painting that separately. There's also a few other bits of plastic, and well, that's in the following step, so we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Throughout here, there's also some railing. We've got a bit of railing to go around here, and a few bits of railing in amongst it. So yeah, we'll work through it carefully. Okay, so I will get on to this. I'll get this done pretty much and glue that on, and we'll come back and have a look. But at some stage throughout this step, video step 15, I'll get those other parts all clear coated, and we'll be doing some work on getting them looking nice. I'm looking forward to see what they look like with clear coat on too. Okay, all right, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. So there's our little walkway on. It's not glued down yet. I just need to test fit it to see if this can still fit in there, and it will. So I can still install that under there, which means I can connect that on. Yeah, and spray that along with everything else on here. So that's great. The ladder just needs to be bent down to attach onto that once that's underneath. It should be fine. So yeah, real happy with that. So I'm just going to glue that on now, and that completes step 77. And then we'll go over the page to 78. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, back again. So I've just popped those two bits on, which are on step 78, and they're M14, M15, quite easy. And we've got two pieces to go on here, which are some more turret bases, gun bases there. R1 and R2 is what we're after, which is here. It's R1 and R2. And then there's just one ladder, which I'm not too sure if I'll be able to install that yet. Let me just take a look. Yeah, the ladder will go from the top of that platform up onto this bit of superstructure that's not there yet. So I will probably, or definitely I'll paint that ladder separately. Okay, we'll keep that separate. That'll be the first piece so far that we need to keep separate and install after all this is on with all the extra superstructures on it. Okay, so yeah, I'll get on with these. I'll put these two on and get that ladder ready. And there's another step done. 78 will be finished. Moving quite well. But we're by no means close to even done. All right, I'll be back soon. Okay, back again. And I've just put these two pieces on, I think it was. Yeah, these two pieces went on. And they were the last two. R1 and R2. No, it isn't. It's M23 and M24. They're the last two pieces for step 78. And I've also just clear coated all those superstructure parts. So I'm letting them dry and then we'll have a look at them. I did use a bit of gunmetal grey on the binoculars, but when that's all dry, I'll leave that overnight. We'll come back and we'll do all the portholes and windows, or porthole glass, I should say. So now we're moving on to step 79. And I've had a brief look at this. I put the instructions up in the corner here. And it's all photo etch on here. And it's mostly, well, it is all railings. And there's little bits and pieces that go around here. All the railings can go on. And they won't interfere with those other superstructures that I'm yet to put on. So that's good. So yeah, I'll just start with this. I'll probably start with Photo-etch A6 as a curved piece that sits around here, and we'll just work our way across and get all that done. I don't know if we'll get all this done before I get to finish off the other bits that were sprayed in clear coat, but we'll make a start on this and see how we go. All right. Okay, let me get some photo etch out and we'll get onto it. Back in a sec. Okay, so I've got all the I've got this piece on and I've done all this side, and then it's just a matter of doing the repeat for the other side. They're all going on fine, no problem, except for one. There's one piece that needs to be bent to go around here. Sorry, you can see that, there it is. It goes in here. But when the funnel's on, there's two parts on the funnel that it needs to go up against and sit between as it sits around here. So I can't really position that without that being there. So what I'll do is this will be going on later, like the ladder that I had to put aside. So I'll put this aside with the ladder to be painted separately. And of course the one for the opposite side as well. Just so that it fits, because if you look, if you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's a short, the bar goes out, extends past the post, and it gets longer as it goes to the bottom, and that's to compensate for the angle of the piece that's supposed to be sitting there. So it does have to sit up against it, which is why I can't really fit it now. So not a problem. It'll get painted separately with the other ladder, and I'll just get the other piece off and put it aside. And that'll go, where is it? There we go. So my ladder's in there. I'll just label this for step 79. I'll put them both in there. So I'm going to do the other side now, and then that will complete step 79. Okay, we'll back shortly. Okay, so I've done the other side of the railings on this, which means that step 79 is all done now, except for the two curved bits that I showed before. They've been put aside. They'll be painted up separately, just to make sure they get fitted properly after the funnel goes on. And speaking about the funnel and all those other superstructure subsections have all been clear coated. They're all dry, and they're now all ready to get the porthole glass put in using our MIG ammo. So let me get set up for that, and we'll go through and get on with that. Back in a sec. Okay, so here's our funnel. which, my mistake, there are no portholes anywhere around the base or anywhere on that funnel, so it's pretty much done. We can't be putting any glass on anything there, so I'll put that aside. But what we can do is this. So this goes towards the stern of the central superstructure, so pretty much it's going to fit on here. Okay, and there are quite a few portholes on this, so we can see that we've got a couple here, we've got one there, and that's about it. Less than I thought once again, so there's 4. But this will be a good example of showing you. I've shown this before, but in case you missed, this is what I do. So we no longer need that on there. We can take that off. Let me just grab some equipment here. Okay, so I've got my ultra glue from MIG-Ammo. That's the acrylic Photo-etch clear parts glue. And I've got it in a separate container, which has been watered down. And I literally watered this down. This has been in here for at least almost 3 months. That's how long this stuff lasts. Okay, and it's down to a bit of a, probably twice as thick as what you'd put through your airbrush, or probably like the consistency of paint that you haven't added thinners to. All right, and then we just need our toothpicks. And then it's simply a matter of, there's our porthole we want to put glass in. So we just touch it in there, fill it in. You can see that there. We'll do the same with the other one. Boom, touch that. And then the other 2, which are on the back here, just touch that in there like that. It's 1, and then last one around here, 2. I'll just give that one a little bit more. Perfect. Right, now it goes on white. That'll dry completely clear, and you'll get that beautiful little twinkle of glass in there when the light shines on it. So, well, that piece is done now. Really, that's it. There's nowhere else to put any on. So, very good. Well, now I'll go get the next piece, which is the base of the bridge, I think it would be called. Let me just grab that. I'll move that somewhere safe out of the way. So now we have this one here, and there's 2 little portholes there and there. These ones I don't know how I missed it, but I forgot to drill them out. But that won't matter. You'll still get that little sparkle of light in here from this. So let's just carefully touch that in there like that. There it is. And one more time over here. Like that. Done. Simple as that. Okay, we can now take off our little support piece that I added. That was there, just created a handle so I could paint it easier. And that can get put aside. And now we'll get the bridge, the main big piece. There it is. Lots of holes on this, lots of portholes, lots of windows. Now, because I've left it that thick as it is, not thin too much, this glue, it should be no problem filling out those rectangular shaped windows around the bridge area there. There is a couple that are quite large. I'm not sure how we're going to go there, but I'm sort of wondering whether they were glass or not. I'm going to go and refer to, well, the anatomy of ship is only going to show them open, isn't it? The thing is that there's binoculars all along that level under there, and you wouldn't be looking through binoculars through glass, would you? I mean, through a glass window, you'd be wanting to look through open areas. So I'll see what I can do, but in the meantime, I won't be putting glass in those. For now, I'll just do all the portholes. And again, it's just simply carefully going around and touching them in like that. All right. And this is also why I clear coated this earlier, was so that clear coat tends to fog up these. It's like you would never put a clear coat over a canopy or any clear plastic, otherwise you're going to fog it. So same with this. So you can see how easily that goes in. All right, so I'll keep going with this, and we shall come back and have a look when they're all dried up, when they're all dry. And it's probably only going to be about 2 hours. It's quite hot here today. Only be a couple of hours and there'll be crystal clear glass in there. Yeah. Okay, so I shall be back shortly. Okay, so I've done all the portholes, and I've just looked and realized that all these square windows down here all have shutters on them. I remember putting the photo etch there. So it has these shutters on that fold up that can close them. So I'm assuming that they'll be open. There'll be no glass in there. The top, because of the binoculars, I'm not going to put any glass in those. That would not look right. As for this part in here, I'm not too sure about that. There's no covers for them on there, and there's no binoculars in there at all. I'm not sure what that area is. So for the moment, I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to do the portholes, which you can see they're all done. They're slowly fading, not standing out so white anymore. But the best way for this would be me to put some photographs where you'll be able to see them a bit better. So that's all the superstructure parts done and detailed with all the glass in the portholes. Okay, so there they are. I'll put some photos up in the top here. You can have a look at the glass effect. And I guess all we can do now is turn the page to the next step in the instructions, which will be number 80 we're up to. So let me go move these into a very nice safe location, and yeah, we'll come back with the superstructure base, which I think we've got to continue working on. Okay, we'll be back again in a minute. Okay, welcome back again. So what I've been doing is looking at the next step, which I'll put up in the corner, make some room up here. And let me just zoom the camera out, give us a bit more viewing space. 1 second. Okay, that's a bit better. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at step 80, where we've got all those structures and supports that are going to go all the way around here on both sides. And I'm just looking at making sure that they can all go on here, none of them attached to the missing subsections that we haven't got on here. Idea being is that I want to put everything on this I can before I paint it, so then I can paint it all in one go and there's not much to add afterwards. Right now we've got all the photo etched, almost all the photo etched. There is a few more bits that can go on here later. I've gone and looked through ahead of the steps we're at, and there's a few more pieces, and to make sure that they fit, I actually took off one of these turret mounts here, which will sit here, and there's 3 of them. There's 1, 2, and 3, just to see where they fit. And the way it is that those brackets that we've got to do in this step can be fitted, they don't interfere with these going on, so that's great. They can be done separately. We build these up separately and put them on after. As for the photo etch, well, it'll all fit on here before those go on as well. That won't get in the way, so that's great. There are only 2, and if you look at the instruction there at step 80, the H27 and H6 that go up here, they actually attach up to the base of where the signal lights are on the funnel, okay? Which means that if they're going to attach to that, they have to be put on after this is painted. So I will have to paint them separately and place them. Not a problem, but everything else will go on, and that's fine. Now, I know everybody has their own way of doing things, but my idea is that I can put on all these parts and spray them and still get into all those little corners and bits and pieces that would be almost impossible if you were trying to spray it with the funnel there, the bridge there, and the section on the back here. Doing them separate like this, fully like they are, like you just saw I had them all out before, and then spraying all this, and then all we need to do is just place them on and it's done. Just makes the airbrushing side of things a bit easier, at least I think so. All right, it does mean that you got to keep little bits and pieces separate, you know, that you got to come back to later, but other than that, it should be fine. So, having said that, we'll take off, I'll grab the H sprue. There's actually a couple on the P sprue as well, and they're showing for both sides, so we've got to do 2 of everything. And it's just those H27 and H6, and then it says opposite H7 and H28 that I'll be putting separately in a little container, and marking those to be painted later and putting them on afterwards. Okay. Now I have had a quick sneak at step 81. There's not much to it. It's just a few more of these support brackets going on. And again, they're on a lower level. They're down here more. And they can all go on too. There's nothing that can't go on there. There's only about 8. That includes both sides, 8 or 10 of them. And we're getting very close to the point where once I put the Photo-etch railing down here, which I looked at, and it's quite a bit further on. It's not until step 88, but we'll jump to that and put that in because we need to get that on. Once that railing goes on, we can paint this. We can get the Outlaw Paints black out, go over it and do it in the grey, and yeah, looking forward to that. Probably not happen in this video, but most likely in the next video. All right, so yeah, I'll get the sprue out. I'll start working on these little pieces we need for step 80, and we'll get them in place. Okay, all right, back shortly, guys. Okay, so I'm just starting on this sprue H, I think it was. Yes, and it's one of those ones that are in the bubble wrap, very delicate. So you want to be really, really careful taking these pieces off. I don't know how yours are, but mine are going to need quite a bit of cleanup as well. There's a little bit of tidying up to do, but we'll get that out, sorted out. This will take me a long time, so you don't want to watch me do this. I'll get all these pieces off first for one side and do it, and then we'll have a look at it, and then I'll do the other side. Okay, I'll be back. Hello, welcome back. So I've finished step 80. I've got these supports on those turret mounts here, so they're all on, except for the 2 that I've got to do separately, so they're okay. Now I'll move on to step 81, which I'll put up there in the corner. And it's the same thing again, just a few more, probably another 8, including both sides. Working down a little bit lower, so they'll all be able to go on. There's nothing up top on this. And they're all from the P sprue, which is another one of these ones you've got to be very delicate with. Lots of small pieces there. So I'm going to start working on that, and then when we're done with that, we'll come back and have a look. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back, and I've finished both sides of the other little bits of plastic supports that needed doing. They're done on both sides. So what I've done now is I just checked ahead to make sure, because, well, first of all, step 81 is now done. But before we go to 82, I looked ahead and 83 has a tiny little E39. There's two E39s and they're the last thing on the E sprue. There they are there, and they go just on the end of these turret, well, gun platforms here. One goes there, one goes there. I don't know why that wasn't, shown to go on earlier, but anyway. So I will put those on. So there'll be one there, and that's those two. That finishes off that sprue. Finishing step 81 finished off this sprue, which was the K, I think? P sprue. P sprue is finished, and that one is the E sprue. They will be done. That makes a bit of space. And then I've jumped ahead, and I will put this up for you to have a quick look at step 88, where there's some railings to go around down here that we can put on now, and that way they'll get sprayed while they're on. They go on both sides obviously as well. And that's it. After that we can actually put some paint on this. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll put those two little pieces on either side of there. I'll finish these railings on here, and then we'll come back. All right, back in a sec. Okay, back again, and what was it? Step 88 is done. We had to jump ahead so we can put those railings on. So we've got some railings around here on each side, all in place, so they're done. So now everything is done on here that needs to be put on before we paint. So let's first of all just have a quick look at where we're up to next, which will be step 82. I'll whack that up in the corner there so you can see. And we've got some, looks like they look like rangefinders or directors, I'm not sure, but we've got a few of them to build. We've got 2, 4, 6 different items to be built there, and in the next step they'll be going on. So that's looking good. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'll be painting them separately. So we'll get the parts off to put these together. Part number 47 we make 2, and 48 we make 2, and there's quite a few pieces to them, it looks like. Oh no, there's top one, 46 we've got to do as well. We'll make 2 of them, and it says option in that, so let me just check what that means. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so it's pretty unclear here. We definitely need to make 2 because they need to be fitted, and they go, it looks like 46 is there, so they're going to go on here. Yeah, they're going to go on here and here on each side. Sorry, I can't see that, can you? There we go. So they're going to go on here and here, so they have to be built. The option bit I don't understand. That doesn't really tell you what is optional about it. So I'm just going to make them all up with all the parts on there. We'll do 2 of those, and then we'll move on and do the other 2. There's quite a bit of photo etch to go on these as well. And of course, while that's happening, I'm going to paint this. So all this superstructure here, I'm going to undercoat that in the Outlaw Paints black primer, and we'll have a look at that. I don't know whether we'll be able to see. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. But I may end up building some of these before we come back and see this. Yeah, this looks good. I'm just going to fix up some of these railings that are looking a little bit crooked. That's a good thing about using this MIG ammo glue for photo etch. Sorry, I bumped the camera there. Using this here is it's not brittle, so you can, look at that, you can bend the pieces and get them in their position just right. They're not going to ping and snap off. All right, all good. Okay, so I'll get some paint on this, and then we'll start on step 82. Okay, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. There it is, all primed up in the Outlaw Paints black primer. Looking really, really nice. Yeah. And that's dried up over about 3 hours now, so pretty much right for the base coat to go on now. Get the Imperial Japanese grey on there. I think that's going to look absolutely incredible when it's all painted up. So I shall go and do that right now. Okay, back shortly. Okay, welcome back. And it's all painted up. Let's have a look at it. Look at that. Amazing, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Well, I think so. So, yeah, there you go. Don't worry about the hole there. I spilled some paint and it ate through the foam. But, yeah, done. Did half an hour ago, so it's got a bit of drying to do. But it's come up really beautiful. Look at the grey, eh? Really nice. Definitely worth doing over a black primer. And yeah, just thrilled with it. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll put this back away, let it dry, and we'll get stuck into the next steps, which will be step 82, which I mentioned before. So we've got a few pieces to put together there, quite a bit of photo etch parts to do. Yeah, and all of these little sections now, these subsection bits, will all have to be painted before they get put onto here. So we might build up a few before we paint them, or paint them as we go. We'll see how it is. Yeah, looks good. All right, so I'll get this somewhere safe, let it dry. I'm back in a sec. Oh, and one more thing before I do go is, after this is dry, I'll wait till tomorrow. I'll clear coat this as well. And once that's all clear coated, I'll be able to do like I did with the bridge and other sections that go on top here. We can do all the portholes, get all those filled in with the glass effect. All right, excellent. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so this is, I looked up, this is the rangefinder that I'm building, 2 of them. I do think I've lost a piece, unfortunately. Just not sure. We'll see how we go. So this is all the plastic bits, but then there's about that much again in photo etch. But they seem to be coming off the sprues all over the place. So we need sprues C, D, and so C, D. That should be it, actually. Yeah, not so bad. All right, so I'll get the photo etch and start putting these together. Okay, we'll be back in a sec. Hello, welcome back. So, I've put the gun directors, or the rangefinders, away for the moment, because I realised that I really want to finish off this a bit more. So what I want to do is I want to get these portholes all done and filled in. I've made a fresh mix of my MIG ammo. So again, I always do the MIG ammo canopy clear glue. But really, you can use anything that, you know, dries clear, but this I find is really good. The trick with it is to water it down. Okay, it comes out like a really thick paste from the original bottle. But if you water it down and get it like, you know, like a, I don't know, this sort of consistency, then you can, it's a lot easier to apply. Now there's a few portholes around here, but before I do that, I've just realized I need to clear coat all of this. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do right now, is I'm going to go and put a clear coat on this, and then when we come back, we'll do the portholes. but I just thought I'd show you some of these portholes. There's not many. Okay, we've got 1, 2, one on the back there, 3, 4 on here, and the same on the other side. And there's one up there on each side. So there's only about a dozen at the most. But it's all in the detail, isn't it? So we'll get that done. Also, one of my subscribers mentioned a handy thing I have to do is, now that we've done the funnel, there's actually a decal that needs to go on that. So what I will also do is I'm going to clear coat all of those parts, which I've got sitting in a box safely. And while I'm clear coating this, I'll get it all done at once. And we'll put that decal on, because the decal's in a pretty awkward position on that funnel there, and it's going to be much easier to do it while it's off this, basically. So yeah, so thanks for that tip. All right, so I'll get this clear coated, and then we'll come back and do these portholes. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, so while that's drying, I've just put that outside to let that clear coat dry. I'll make sure that dries properly overnight. I thought, well, let's get this decal on the funnel here. So there's our funnel, and it's pretty much going to go straight in there. There is one little piece that's going to have to slide under. Shouldn't be a problem. Other than that, should go on easily. So this here, the instructions shows decal number 29 there, and just put that back there. Here's our decals that come with the model here. Open that up, and there they are there, one for each side. So yeah, we've got the flags in there as well. All right, so I'm going to go and take these off, get some water ready, and I'll use my, what we got here, my Mark Fit Strong, which has always been my go-to. And yeah, let me get my stuff out here and we'll put this on. Back in a sec. Okay, I'm all set up here for our little bit of surgery. So first thing first is grab one of our decals, submerge it, take it out, put on a paper towel. That's it. That's as far as I go for that part. Then we'll take a bit of our Mark Fit, very small amount. Just going to put that in there where we want it. This is the way I do things. So what I'm going to do is I will slide the decal in under there, and then I will use a bit more Mark Fit on top of it, and that should be it, pretty much. Should only take a couple of minutes. Once it starts moving around on there, should be ready to go. Be able to drop it on there. It's looking good. Just give it a little bit longer. Okay, that's ready to go down now. So just pick that up, a bit of excess water off. We just want to slide this on here. Yeah, that's what I was afraid. There's one of the attachment points for that metal rod right where I don't want it to be. So I'm going to have to put the decal over the top of it. There it is there. looks okay. A bit more mark fit on there. There we go. I'll just let that sit. Right. Yeah, so one of the attachment points for one of those photo etch pieces is right where that needed to slide underneath, in which case I could have done that, but I couldn't. So what I've done is I've lined it up, and it'll be fine. There's a clear part in the design, goes across there. I've lined that up with that rod, so it's a little bit higher than it should be, but that'll be fine. Okay, so I'll let that dry and set, and then I'll turn it over and do the other side. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so both of them are done, and they've set down there really nice, as you can see. Yeah, happy with that. So I'll put that aside with the other parts, and we'll get the base superstructure all out, as I call it, and start putting some windows in with our canopy glue here. Okay, back again in a sec. Okay, welcome back. So this is all clear coated now, and look at that, it's so smooth, beautiful. So flat clear, gone on beautifully. It's dried overnight. We're here now in the morning at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, and time to do the portholes and get them all done. There aren't many, there's about 12. We just need to go along with our MIG ammo glue here and just touch it in there and just create the glass effect, which is really simple to do, as I'm going to show you. Position this a bit better. I'll do one and then I'll do the rest off camera, because, you know, it's not that exciting, but yeah, so we're getting a little bit on the toothpick here, reaching in, done. Just touch it in there, it's simple as that. That's all there is to it. You'll see that it goes in there as a little white spot. You might be able to make that out on there, I don't know, in there. Within an hour within half an hour it'll start to clear. Within an hour it'll look like there's a piece of glass in there. That's the effect we're after. All right, so I'm going to go around and do the rest of this, and then we'll come back and see how it's looking. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, back and done. So I don't know if you can make out, there's a couple of portholes in there. They're still drying, so they're not really glazed over completely yet. You might be able to see a bit of a glint in there if I move it to the light a little bit. But they'll come up well. That's really good. So yeah, all fine. So now what I'm going to do is we'll go back to putting the rangefinders on, which are in step 82 that I've started. So the idea is that all the little guns and rangefinders, everything else that needs to go on this now, I'm going to build as separate, all separately, test fit them, but I won't be putting them on there because I want to clear coat all the guns, all the turrets, all those separately, weather them up a little bit, put in the little bits of, some spots might need some gunmetal or some dark iron painted on them just to enhance them a little bit. I'll do that all separately, then everything will be labeled and put into little containers so that at the very end I'll be able to put them all on, and because then they'll all be sprayed in clear coat as well. All right, that's the plan. So let me put this away somewhere safe where it can stay for a while, and we'll bring out the rangefinder parts where we were up to getting some photo etch ready for them. All right, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, welcome back again. Just making a bit of progress on these rangefinders. Pretty simple to do. Some small pieces go on either side. There's a little hatchway on the top, and there's a piece that we got to bend around like we had to do on one other piece earlier. That's pretty easy. It's just one strip. You just roll it to the curve, roughly the right shape, and then glue it on. That one there is finished with the base on it. And, it's all good. Just need to put that one on, and then there's a few plastic bits that need to go along the top and the side of it. Yeah. We'll just finish these off and we'll come back and have a look at them. Back in a sec. Okay, welcome back again. So they're done. There they are. Yes, you'll notice there's a piece missing. And there's 2 extra pieces. So these were optional. You could have this in an open position on the top or closed. And I've gone with the open. So those aren't required. Fortunately here, one of these pieces disappeared somewhere on my bench. I've had a good look for it. I can't find it. Fingers crossed it'll turn up, but that's all I can do for now. So hopefully that piece will show up. In the meantime, they're done. So they will go into a little container. I'll put a little label in there as step 82, and then we'll call them 46, because that's the number that refers to when they get put down onto the actual model. And then we'll move on to the next part of step 82, which is to make 2 and 2 of these ones, which are identical other than the base they're on. That makes them different. So there's 4 of them all up to make. They include a bit of photo etch. It's only 3 pieces, there's 3 pieces of photo etch plus the 2 plastic parts. So yeah, I'll go and put those 2 bits together, and we'll add them to the container as well. Okay, back shortly. Hey there, back again. Just showing I've taken off the 4 different size pieces of photo etch. These will need to go down on the inside of this, and quite easy to bend to match into there. It's not a problem. But one little tip I'll give is, even though it may not seem important, no matter how hard you try, you're always going to get a little bit of a nub on the end there, okay? And you need to get that off, all right? So all it takes is just a little bit of this. Sorry about the birds outside. It's early morning. They're waking up, sitting on my balcony here, and I need to go and feed them. So yeah, that's all it takes. Just go along on each one and sand them all off. All right. And while you're doing that, I'll go feed these birds. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so the parrots are happy. I'll put a photo up in the corner here. You can see him eating away on his cookie. And yep, I'll go throw these together. All right, we're back shortly. Okay, so these rangefinders are done. They're all rangefinders, just different types. So to tell them apart, the only really way was to write number 48 underneath 2 of them. That was so I know that those parts are 48 and these were 47 of 82, step 82. We'll grab a container, put those ones in there, move down to the last one, which we've also got to make 2 of. And there's also a couple of little holes to be drilled in this as well. Okay, so let's get on to that. Be back again in a sec. Okay, so done. Rangefinders are done. Went together well. No lost parts. And again, they will get put into a little container with the others, which I have right here. We'll put them in a separate container because the idea is that I'm going to paint these separately before I put them actually on the superstructure, and not only these, but all the guns that are going on the superstructure. So what we'll do now is I'll bring up the instructions for step 83 that we're up to now, and basically all that's showing, as you can see in the corner, is the placement of what we've just built, including a spotlight I noticed up there that we built earlier, and we have that here. The spotlight's in there. Okay, so there was also that little piece down the bottom there, E39. I made sure I put that on before I painted it, so that one's already on there. Now, but we're not going to put all these on, like I said. So what we are going to do is move on to the next step, which will be 84, and that is the beginning of the guns. And there's quite a few. Well, it starts off with, as you can see there, we've got 6, and we've got to make 6, another 6 down below, and then they get put on. Then we've got to make more guns. I think there's 8. Actually, there's 28. But anyway, guns. But that will be in the next video. So we've gone as far as we can in this one. That's quite enough. So next video will be the beginning of all the guns, which I'm really looking forward to. And yeah, so thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Hit that notifications bell that gets you notified every time a video comes up. Give us a thumbs up if you like the video. That helps the algorithm push it out to more people. And your comments are welcome below. If you've got any comments, any questions, any suggestions, just let me know down there in the comments. Things like, you know, am I feeding the parrots the correct cookies? Anything that you got ideas. I do watch other people's doing their builds on social media, and I get a few ideas from there, but mostly from the comments below. Fantastic stuff. All right, so thank you all, and I'll see you all in the next part, which will be part 16. Okay, good one. Cheers all. Bye.